In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up your Illustrator file to create your dust cover. We're going to go to Illustrator and I'm going to go Command N for new. And then we're going to choose print from the profile dropdown. Once we've done that, we're going to choose units of measure. We're going to switch them to centimeters just because that's what we're using for this project. The width of our page is going to be 45 centimeters and the height is going to be 20. That's because the measurements are here. 9 plus 12 plus 3 plus 12 plus 9 is 45 and the height is 20. And then we're going to add an 1/8 inch bleed. So I prefer to type 0P9. And then if I just hit the tab key on the keyboard, I see that it's switched to this many centimeters and that equals 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so this is our document setup for our dust cover. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now we're going to want to bring up our transform panel. So if you don't see it on your screen, you can go Window and Transform. Now we're going to take the line segment tool and just put a 1/2 inch stroke on it. And we're actually going to use the registration color. Okay, so go to your swatches and choose registration. So note my fill and stroke. There's a registration color stroke and no fill. Now I'm simply going to drag a vertical line. As I drag, I hold shift to make sure it's straight. And we can set the height of this to 2 centimeters. There's no particular reason, it's just a good height. As we work, the weight of the stroke may change, but it doesn't matter. We'll set them all to 0.5 points at the end. So one thing that's really important is that you turn on Smart Guides under the View menu. Hit Command U to make sure there's a check mark next to Smart Guides. Once that's done, we need to set up a mark like this. These are fold marks or trim marks. We're going to set one up at the correct increments that are indicated here. So we have to leave the one that's there, copy it over by 9 centimeters, then copy it over by 12, then 3, then 12, then 9. Okay, so all I'm going to do is select that stroke. I might as well switch it to 1/2 point right away. I'm going to go to weight and switch it to 0.5 points. So now I've selected the stroke with my black arrow. I'm going to hit return. And in horizontal, I'm going to put 9. And in vertical, I'm going to put 0. And then I click copy. Don't click OK, click copy. Now all I need to do is hit enter or return on my keyboard to enter the next value. See, the dialog comes up automatically. I'm going to put in 12 and then click copy. And then I'm going to hit enter again, put in 3, right? Yeah, this spine is 3. So I'm going to enter 3 and click copy. Then I hit return again, enter 12, copy. Hit return again, enter 9, and copy. And it landed exactly at the other end of our page. If you look at the X value, it's 45 centimeters. That means it's exactly 45 centimeters from the top left corner of our page. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to grab all of these lines with my black arrow, drag them down, and hold Option and snap them to the red bleed line at the bottom. I still need to move the top ones too. I'm going to move them and snap them. I'm holding Shift as I drag downwards so that they stay in a straight line. And now these are perfectly aligned. If I do a test, I can grab my white arrow, drag it across the page, and look, it lines up perfectly with the line on the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to undo that. Now I need the other lines that are on the width, I guess, of the page. So I Option drag one of my lines over to copy it. I hit R on my keyboard, then I hit return and I put in 90 degrees. So see, it rotates it by 90 degrees and I click OK. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit and my Smart Guides, see, my Smart Guides tell me when I'm lined up with the edge of the page. And this is crucial that you're exactly accurate, that this lines up exactly with the edge of the page against the red lines here. Now I'm going to go down. I can either do this with the transform tool or with Smart Guides. So I just moved that line down, and if I select both of these lines, The height is exactly 20 centimeters in my transform panel, so I know it's exactly right. So I'm going to zoom out again, grab both of these, hold Option, and drag them across the screen until they snap on the right side of the page. So all of these lines have a solid stroke on them, which means that they're trim lines. But fold lines, these lines here and these are fold lines, so they need to have a dash rather than solid. Okay, so a solid line means a trim, a dash line means a fold. So I'm going to go stroke and dash, and then let's just take a look at what that looks like. That's it's actually, it doesn't matter there. That's fine as long as it's a dash line, but I can make the interval of the dashes different. So I can go to dash here and put 6 instead of 12. Okay, so now when we look at this, we see our layout with all the folds and the trim. Now I'm going to create guides that are going to help me with my design. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that covers my page and not the bleed, the page itself. So when I draw the rectangle, because I have smart guides on, it snaps to 45 centimeters wide and 20 tall. Now I'm going to hit S on my keyboard to switch to my scale tool and make sure that in the transform palette that the center reference point is selected. And I'm going to go Object, Path, Offset Path, and then put in a minus number. So 2 centimeters is too much, so 1 centimeter is fine. Okay, so minus 1 centimeter. And that creates our margin. So nothing important is going to go in the gap here around our margin. I'm just going to take the dash off of this. It doesn't really matter for now, but let's take the dash off it. And what we can do is even set up guides for the folds. So I'm going to line up, look, when I move my cursor right here, I switch to my line segment tool. And when I put my cursor right in line with those fold marks, the smart guides tell me I'm there. So I'm going to shift drag down. And now I can grab all of these. I can move them over so that they snap in place. See, they snap right in place. So make sure if it misses, just undo and do it again. So now I have these lines. I'm going to grab them all. Oh, I can delete the first rectangle I made, the one that covered the page. Go back and delete that one. Okay, this is the one that goes from edge to edge of the page. So I'm going to hit delete to get rid of it. And now I'm going to select all the contents of the page. Okay, all the guides we just made. I'm just going to make them black. I'm going to take them off of registration and I'm going to go view, guides, and make guides. And that's going to convert strokes into Illustrator guides. Okay, so and my guides are locked, so I can't even click on these. So this shows me where my spine is going to be and the back of the cover and the front and the flaps and everything. The last step we're going to do is place all this on an artboard that contains everything we've done to date. So I'm going to click on the artboard tool and I'm going to place my cursor, see where I am right at the top left, and it's snapping. I haven't clicked anything. I just moved my cursor here. So I move it to the top left and I drag down and then don't let go, snap it right there. And now that artboard contains all of the rest of the content. So now when we print, let's say that's artboard number 3. I'm not sure why it went from 1 to 3, but it doesn't matter. This artboard is the interior one. So let's say we call this dust cover. And this one, I don't know what to call it, outside artboard. Okay, so when I click on this one, it does that. So now when I print or export this to PDF, either way, I can choose to print this artboard, the outer one, and it contains everything inside it.